Hi there.
Who, me?
Yeah, you seem like an average guy.
Well, I love smoothies and drive a Prius if that's what you mean.
Exactly. Quick question. Have you ever thought how your life might be different if you were gay?
Not really. I guess it would be a little harder. Wait, was that homophobic? Oh god, I'm really sorry.
This is a safe space, Carl.
My name is Mark.
Whatever. You're right, though. Being gay has its challenges, but it hasn't always been like this.
Like the Greeks?
Absolutely. The earliest evidence of gay relationships is from ancient Greece, although that was mostly about older and younger men. Did you know Socrates was in the closet?
I didn't. I also didn't know they had closets back then. When did all the crazy homophobia start?
Homophobia seemed to start in the church during the High Middle Ages.
Whoa.
And in the Renaissance, it got even worse.
What happened?
Well, if you were outed, let's just say it would have been bad.
Ah!
There were still plenty of brave people who revolted. On August 31st, 1512, a group of young aristocrats living in Florence staged what many consider history's first gay rights demonstration. But that didn't stop homophobia from migrating to colonial America. In 1776, being gay in any of the Puritan colonies was not allowed.
Jeez. So when did things start to change for the better?
It wasn't until the 20th century that we started to see progress. Gay bars were popping up in major cities, but were frequently raided by the police because being gay was still illegal in every state except Illinois.
Go Bears!
Exactly. One of these bars was the popular Stonewall Inn in New York City. On the morning of June 28, 1969, which also happened to be the day of Judy Garland's funeral, the patrons of the Stonewall Inn decided they weren't going to take it.
Hell yeah.
A black transgender woman named Marsha P. Johnson is credited with leading the uprising that started the modern gay rights movement and putting the T in LGBT. Now, every November, the T's and their supporters recognize Transgender Awareness Week.
This is great. It seems like things were going pretty well.
For a while.
A while? What happened next?
Well, in the early 80s, the world was hit by the AIDS epidemic, and the gay community was hit hardest. AIDS became known as a gay disease. In fact, it was originally called GRID, which means gay-related immune deficiency.
No way.
It's true. Many people think that the government didn't act quickly enough because it was considered a gay disease. So the LGBTQ community had to fight it themselves.
So how did they fight it?
They got organized. Activist groups like ACT UP, the Gay Men's Health Crisis, Lesbian AIDS Project, and the Names Project emerged and refused to be ignored. This newly empowered gay community had one goal.
What was that?
To come out. They thought the problem with homophobia was that people didn't know other people who were gay. And if more people came out, they would be seen for who they are and not just as a stereotype. Convincing people to come out was still a tough task, but things got easier in 1997 when Ellen appeared on the cover of Time magazine and told the world, "Yep, I'm gay." After that, more and more gay people started appearing in TV and movies, helping millions feel more confident to love who they want.
Wow, what a journey. I'm kind of digging myself as a gay person.
Slow down. We're not done just yet.
But we've come so far. Can we just celebrate for a minute?
No time for that, Carl. We still have a lot of laws to change.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Being gay was more accepted, but there were still a lot of rights that gay people didn't have. However, they did have something they didn't have before.
What?
Allies. Yeah, in 2003, Massachusetts became the first state to legalize marriage equality. And 12 years later, it was legal in all 50 states, much in thanks to a majority of Americans who supported it. So as a gay person living in 2019, how would you feel?
Pretty happy I live in the present, grateful for all the heroes who fought before me, and hopeful for the future.
I'm glad, because the fight for equality is still going. It takes a village, and we're going to need your help.
LGBTQ is used to describe a person's sexual orientation or gender identity.
Them weeds and you kill them all. But they were growing too tall. What? I can't hear you.
Lesbian, a woman who's enduring physical, romantic, and or emotional attraction is to other women.
I'm gay.
He's absolutely undeniably gay.
You break the rules, we're gonna zap you. Zap, zap! We're mad with power! And love.
Gay, the adjective used to describe people who's enduring physical, romantic, and or emotional attraction are to people of the same sex.
He won't even come out of his room. Well, we always thought you had such a free spirit and might be able to get Jeff to relax a bit, so it doesn't matter why we called you in. Can you help or not?
Bisexual, a person who has the capacity to form enduring physical, romantic, emotional attractions to those the same gender or another gender.
Hello, everybody!
Because if you show me a sweet potato pie, I am on top of it.
I knew it!
Transgender, many transgender people are prescribed hormones by their doctors to bring their bodies into alignment with their gender
I don't think I'm
identity.
married to like a woman, so...
Oh, all right, I'll be your beard.
What do you want?
First, I'll tell you what I don't want. I don't want to hold on to this anymore.
Queer. Some people may use queer or more commonly gender queer to describe their identity and or gender expression.
Not gay. I mean, I don't think I am, but I don't think I'm straight either. I don't know what I am.
Questioning. This term describes someone who is questioning their sexual orientation or gender identity.
Sexual Orientation and Gender Identity and Expression, or the Sogie Bill. It is also called as the House Bill number 4982, or an act prohibiting discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity or expression, and providing penalties therefor. It is the first of its kind in the country. Other anti-discrimination bills have been filed in the past, but these were never Sogie specific, lumping the lesbian, gay, transgender, bisexual, and queer sector, with others such as differently abled or the indigenous groups. The earliest version of the Sogie Equality Bill was filed in 2000 by the late Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago and former Akbayan Representative Loretta Rosales under the 11th Congress. It was pending for 19 years and is now coming to fruition in the 17th Congress through the Sogie Equality Bill is meant to fulfill the rights set forth in the 1987 Constitution, particularly the Equal Protection Clause. It recognizes the LGBTQ as equals and ensures that their rights are protected inasmuch as everyone's is.
The bill first introduces and defines the concepts of sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression, as well as other terms that are pertinent to the aforementioned. It will list the practices to be considered discriminatory and unlawful under the bill, like the denial of rights to the LGBTQ community on the basis of their Sogie, such as the right to access public services, right to use establishments and services including housing, and right to apply for professional license, among others. Differential treatment of an employer or anyone engaged to render services, denial of admission to or expulsion from the educational institution, refusal of revocation of accreditation to any organization due to an individual Sogie will also be penalized. Commission of any of the said acts will be meted out a fine of 100,000 to 500,000 pesos or a prison sentence of 1 to 6 years or both. Additionally, the court may impose community service in the form of attendance in human rights education.
What is Sogie Bill? So most of us know about Sogie Bill because we can hear and see this on television and from different social media platforms. So this is a program to promote non-discrimination and diversity. And what it is all about. Sogie Bill is the sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression equality is also known as the Anti-Discrimination Bill or ADG. The first filing of the Anti-Discrimination Bill was during the 11th Congress. The bill itself was a policy directly proposed by the Lesbian and Gay Legislative Advocacy Network or LGBTQ. For all LGBT-related bills that has been filed, they are the first LGBT policy advocacy network here in the Philippines. So, most of us not really known about LGBTQ. So what it is all about? LGBTQ has been revived as a community platform for the Sogie Bill and the human rights in the area of the policies and legislation. But first, we are going to tackle about the cons of Sogie Bill. Cons of Sogie Bill: over-entitlement for LGBT community, and the Sogie Bill would disrespect our women in general. A lot of LGBT community can use the law as an excuse or threat to other people that would not agree on their terms. The bill would also disrespect the church law. Imagine a transgender would want to be a nun or a priest. A transgender would go beyond the bounds of moral principle or standard behavior. The Sogie Bill would undermine the academic and religious freedom and also the woman's right. We're going to tackle about the pros of Sogie Bill. This is a wide selection of job opportunities as the LGBT group would not be limited to a certain rule just because of their sexual preferences. Equality not only for LGBT but for everyone else in the country. To be able to provide fairness and equality, not for discriminating a person based on their sexual preferences. Getting penalized for such actions can prevent other people to commit such behavior towards a person on their sexual orientation. So, we should treat one another with fairness and equality because we are the same human being and we have the same rights.
We discovered that LGBTQ and Sogie Bill has a big impact towards the society and as well as to ourselves. We gathered the pros and cons of Sogie Bill. After gathering it, the best thing that we can do is to respect and accept them in the society. For we don't know what battles they are facing right now and what they have experienced before. It is not necessary to accept them, but to respect their decision in their own life is enough. Every situation has its positive and negative, so let's not just focus on the negative side of it. As long as they didn't do something that could harm people around them, and they didn't abuse the power that was given to them. It doesn't matter who you are and how you live your life. In the end, We are all human beings.